let your spirit grow. Welcome to the Gardner Show.
Have you ever been beaten, isolated, or shunned because of failure? If yes, this episode is right for you.
Show. Each droplet of hope, each tender hand builds a garden.
A very warm welcome to the Gardner's Show, and in this episode we are going to discuss about failure, punishment, and how it hinders growth. You realize that in most schools, failure is treated like an illness and everybody needs to hide it or get a quick cure. But if you get an F, it's not seen as a step in your life journey. It's seen as a stain on your own record. But in life, outside the school setting, failure is one of the best teachers you will ever meet. And why? Because it humbles you, it pushes you to adapt and forces you to grow in ways you never ever could have imagined.
To the Gardner Show.
Let's just drift back to our childhood memories. Think of a toddler learning how to walk. They take a step, they wibble, they fail. Not one pull out all a red pen and says, that is an A, that is a D, that is a F. They are not graded for failing. We cheer them up, we help them up, and we celebrate the tiny progresses that they make each and every day. So the question is, why? Why then do we punish children who have failed? Do we suddenly turn mistakes into marks of shame, or instead of stepping stones for them to grow and progress?
Together we rise like stems in the rain. Through love and care we break every chain.
I want to ask you, are you failing our students and maybe ourselves by making failure something to be ashamed of instead of something to learn from? If you read, or if you've ever read the book by Carol Dweck, Mindset, she explains the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And in the fixed mindset, failure is a verdict. You are not good enough, they say. You cannot do it. You have failed already. And yet in a growth mindset, failure is feedback. Here's where you can improve. This is how you can do better. This is how far you can go. That one shift changes every little thing. So I want us to start viewing failure as a springboard for improvement, not as a dead end.
Roots dig down where the strong winds blow. We learn to bend and let courage show. Each droplet of
That means your value as a person isn't tied to your performance. It is not tied in your single movement. It is tied to your willingness to learn from the moment you fail. And this is what Carol Dweck's research found. She realized that students who believe failure to be part of learning push them to work harder, push them to get new strategies, and ultimately outperform those who see failure as a sign of stupidity or as a sign of weakness. In other words, what you believe about failure directly shapes your success. It directly shapes your thoughts, your emotions, and the way you act. One of Carol Dweck's famous example is a classroom where students were praised for effort rather than just outcome. And it led to better performance. They started to outsmart. They started to hear better, and they kept on trying different methods until those methods worked out. Over time, something powerful happened. Students started taking more risks, exploring new ideas, and even seeking harder problems because they knew that getting something wrong wasn't the end of the road. It was a part of their journey. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to learn faster, take more risks, and actually enjoy the process, stop treating failure like it is permanent. That is like intuition. You are paying for valuable lessons that success alone could never teach you. So this week, I want you to go out and notice one thing you have been avoiding because you're afraid of failing. Try it anyway, and when you stumble, pause and ask, what is this teaching me? You may find lessons worth millions that will lead you to perform better, do better, and actually outrun those that you thought negative about you. Thank you so much for listening in. Remember, it's the Gardner's Show, and one way to thank us, to make us do better and perform better and produce more episodes, is to just share and subscribe to our social media. In our next episode, we will be discussing about memorization versus mastery. Which one should we pursue first? Otherwise, adios.
And now we're in my